So this portion is going to be a combination of yin and yang poses through the chakra system. It's important to note a couple of things when doing this practice. Number one, safety is of utmost importance. Find the edge in your practice, in the poses. Don't go beyond that edge. It's important to just breathe into the space, feel around, and when you find that place that says, okay, that's enough, that's where we stay. Number two, for the yin portion, have a clock or a watch handy, like this, so you can keep an eye on how long you're holding poses. Sometimes it may seem like you've held it forever and you've only been there about 15 seconds. And sometimes you can really marinate and sit with the pose and you'll be in it for 10 minutes. Both are not so great. So you want to make sure that you can feel into the pose, but also you don't want to overextend the energy you're supplying into the pose. You want to find that balance, that equanimity, that yin and yang. So we're going to start off with Muladara. Muladara is this space in the pelvic region at the base of the tailbone. So it's right back here. Just going to root down into the ground. So let's start off in our Svathisthana, sweetly seated position. Just bring the hands right to the top of the thighs and just close the eyes. And feel the breath come in through the nose as it hits the back of the throat with a little constriction, finding Ujjayi breath. And as you exhale, finding that nice constriction in the back of the throat. So for this section that we're practicing right now, we're going to work through chakras 1 and 2, Muladara and Svathisthana, or root chakra and sacral chakra. We'll do a combination of poses and link them together so that you see how the inner workings of the two work. So as you continue to find your deep breath with your eyes closed, this is the yin stillness. Nice, deep relaxation, as well as a stimulation. Remember, all yin is stimulated by a little bit of yang, and all yang is stimulated by a little bit of yin. So as we settle and let ourselves be with no hidden agenda of what we're supposed to look for, add a little yang by sitting up a little taller, actively pressing the sit bones down to the earth. And for time purposes, we're just going to take 2 more breaths here. Just come into a little deeper pose for yin that will also stimulate some of the sacral chakra or the Svathisthana. You find a block or 2 blocks. It's nice to start off on 2 blocks, especially as you're just beginning the practice, because we're not quite open yet. So finding a nice squat. So as you find a nice squat, you find the tailbone rooted down, you find the sacral chakra opening up through the pelvis. So 1, tailbone down. 2, sacral chakra opening up. And you can just bring your hands to prayer and press the palms together. And close the eyes again. So as you press the palms together, find a lift through the chest. Keep the chin in nice and tight. So as we're pulling up energy or chi from the earth, press equally down through the heels. Try and squeeze the heels in towards each other without moving the feet. We'll also root the seat down to allow space in the pelvic region to open up. And for timing purposes on this video, we're just going to take 3 more breaths. But doing this pose on your own, you're going to find it in 3 minutes. So this is Muladara, which is normally a yang pose, but we're finding a little yin with our blocks. Take 1 more breath. And exhale. We're going to start to move into a little bit of a yang position with our Muladara, our root. So remember the feet, the pressing down of the feet. We're going to move into Tadasana. As we move into Tadasana, just setting the blocks off to the side. You're going to stand up nice and tall. You're going to find the feet touching, so the big toe mounds touch together. So as they touch together, you can press the feet in like this and feel the heels squeezing towards each other. You can also bring the feet completely together and feel the heels spreading out. Or, if it serves you better to stand with your feet apart, stand with the feet apart. The most important part is to find all 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, down to the ground. So as you stand nice and tall, we're going to inhale and bring the energy up through the floor, close the eyes. Imagine there's roots growing from the bottom of the feet down into the floor space. And as those roots connect, there's stability that is sent through the legs. And as you find that stability, just see if you can just find a little push, push. You might move a little bit, that's okay. But we don't want to, if we can do this, we're not rooted down. So root down and stand nice and tall. I'm going to add a little yang into our stance. So keep the eyes closed, but as you inhale, bring the arms up. And as you exhale, stay there. So the root of the feet that we found is reaching all the way up through the fingertips. So it's a root down, and the rebound of energy goes up through the fingers. Take 1 more breath in. And as you exhale, you're going to slowly fold it forward. You're going to pick the energy up from earth and bring it up again. And exhale, going back down. If you find, like I just did, that you need to open your eyes, that's fine. Try to keep your gaze right off the tip of the nose as you do so. 1 breath, 1 movement. And as we inhale 1 more time, we're going to lift all the way up. And as we exhale, we're going to bring the hands back to prayer. And as we bring the hands to prayer, we're going to stand nice and tall. We're going to start to shift 1 foot, and then the other. Another great pose for Muladara Chakra is finding Vrksasana. It's going to root down into your right foot. I'm mirroring you, so it's my left foot. You're going to bring the left knee up. You can turn your foot either out to your ankle, to your calf, or up to your thigh, never to the knee. This is a joint that if you slip and fall, you can easily pop that knee out. So we want to just put this in a place that you can find some stability. So this is also a pose that is rooted down into the earth from Muladara, but then we're also accessing Svathisthana through the pelvic region. As we open up the knee to the side, you can start to feel the hips start to engage and open up for a little chi flow. So while this pose is stagnant and still, it is a yang pose as it's a standing pose. Standing poses tend to be yang, and folded forward folds tend to be yin. So, just finding this breath, and you can start to play with the energy as you inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bringing it down. Inhale, reaches up. Exhale, brings it down. And you just continue this for a couple more breaths. If the foot starts to cramp up, it's okay. Just release and come back down. Come back to stand. You do want to have a balance and go through the other side. So as you bring the other foot up, you might find that this is not the appropriate place for this foot. You might be wobbling around, or it's just not healthy. You bring the foot down and find the same thing. Just focus on opening up through the hips, and as you root down into the foot, into the Muladara, into the root, feel the tailbone root down as you inhale and reach up. And coming back around. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And just moving back into our stance. So we're going to find one more pose in Muladara and in Svathisthana. So finding Svathisthana through the hips and finding Muladara through the root of the hands. So the hands are going to come down. You're going to find Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward facing dog. As you find downward facing dog and root the hands, you're going to bend the knees so that the hips start to lift up. So the tailbone, the Muladara tailbone, is reaching up towards the sky, and the hips are becoming stable so that you can start to move the chi and find a nice flow. Everybody in yoga will practice this pose at some point in their life. It's not necessary to always do this pose, but it's one of the integral poses of yoga. We're accessing the floor, the root through the hands, the root through the feet. We're accessing the belly and the pelvis by lifting up the hips. You're going to let the head go. Just find a few breaths here. Exhale. We're going to start to move into a more yang-inspired Svathisthana pose. There are elements of Muladara, so we're going to bring our right foot forward, coming into a triangle pose. So you bring blocks to the outside of your foot, and as you find this triangle pose, you're going to lift up on the inner thigh, so you feel the hip stabilize here as you lift the arm up. Once again, this is a yang pose as it's a standing pose. You're going to squeeze the feet in towards each other. And we're going to stay here for just 3 more breaths to continue moving forward. As you practice this series between 1 and 2, see if you can stay with the poses for a little bit longer. And it's okay to find a little bit of a float as you come down and come back up. So remember the roots through the feet, that's the Muladara portion, but this is a more of a Svathisthana sacral chakra pose. Take one more breath. And we're going to move into a yin version of a pose coming into Ekapada Rajakapotasana, or pigeon pose. Bring the knee in, bring the heel in. Be mindful of how your knee feels. For me personally, taking my foot out like this makes my knee feel torqued and gives a lot of pressure to my lower back. So I bring my foot in, and sometimes I even find a block to support me underneath my seat. So as I find that seat and I bring my hands down, I can start to find a lift up through the chest, and then slowly start to find forward fold. This is a nice restorative pose for after a strong vinyasa. It's also a nice restorative pose after a long yin practice. There's little effort here. Once you're in there in comfort, there should be little effort. If you'd like a little bit more of a yang pose for a yin achievement, you can find the same foot forward and just lift up and come into lizard pose as we had talked about before. Just bring the knee down and lift the chest up. Keep in mind, we're going to hold this pose for 3 minutes. at least. So if you're holding for 3 minutes and this becomes too much, consider moving into pigeon pose where you know you can stay without fidgeting, without moving around. The introspective point of yin is to hold, breathe, without having to move around, also known as glorified fidgeting. So we're going to be here for 5 more breaths, just to chill and let ourselves be. Feeling the sacral chakra opening up, driving the breath and the energy through the body from the lower dantian of 1, 2, and 3 up to 4, 5, 6, and 7.